Hey guys, welcome back to the quick after show Q&A. We're all here still. Mark Maccora, Lindsey Haun, Jen Krueger, Clay Larsen. You probably were already watching earlier. Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. We actually have one from probably James. Has anybody played the later Star Wars RPGs, the D20 system or Fantasy Flight versions?
No.
I assume no. No.
I was interested in it, but yeah, we were talking about maybe playing that system here.
Yeah, I looked at the Fantasy Flight system, and it's interesting. It does look like an interesting system, but especially since we were having a guest DM, I didn't want to ask Mark to have to learn a whole new system just to do this, and I didn't have time to learn one. But yeah, I think the D20 system is basically, because it was by Wizards of the Coast, so I think it was basically like 3.5 D&D or something
Just
like that.
Converted over to Star Wars universe, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So I had a point I was going to make earlier, but sorry, we have a ton of snacks now, so
I'm so hungry.
let us know if you have any other questions too. But I was going to point this out earlier, but I was talking so much in that earlier discussion before Lindsey got to go that I didn't want to keep talking and keep cutting her off.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But we were talking about the other Star Wars books and stuff. And here's an interesting thing I learned when I was just researching this game a little bit. So they had the Star Wars movies, and then the first books that came out, the Timothy Zahn ones, which were those Thrawn novels that kind of, in between the last movie and Episode 1, were kind of the thing that kind of jump-started interest in Star Wars again after there was a while without any movies. When he wrote those, they sent him all the books from this game as info for here's all this extra info that was generated about the universe.
I mean, for me, that was the thing that I really loved about the game when I was a kid, was that it was an access point to be able to delve so deeply into the universe. And I think that the reason why I like the D6 version of the game is because it really allows for me to focus on that stuff, like the characters, the universe, and not have to be so concerned with all the game dynamics, because when it comes down to it, it's we're all just having fun with friends, right, playing in the Star Wars universe. And so yeah, that's that. These books, I have so many source books that just cover so much space, the corporate sector stuff, the Dark Empire stuff. I mean, they had 20 different fragments of or galaxy guides. It was awesome. It
was funny. I looked up the system a little bit when we were prepping for this, and I was shocked because you can find most of the PDFs of this online because it's out of copyright pretty much.
Yeah.
It's you can just find the PDFs of all these books online, and there are so many. It actually, because when we were talking about the Fantasy Flight ones, we were like, oh, well, there's 3 different books depending, and it's instead of one core book like D&D, it's oh, this book is for if you want to play a smuggler or a bounty hunter, and this one's for if you want to play a Jedi. And it's different, but at the same time, after looking at this, I was oh, it's kind of similar in this, where there's oh, if you want to know more about specifically bounty hunters, get this source book. And it seemed a little more similar to that than I realized.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why, I was, obviously, as a child, I invested in these things, with whatever money that I could get. And so I think that's why I was, so, even when I saw the first, Episode 1 for the first time, aside from the fact that I was totally sleep deprived because I was I saw it 3 times the first day, a midnight showing, and after midnight showing, and then a 7 p.m. showing.
Wow.
And I was just I was just I didn't even want to accept the fact that those movies were so problematic, even though I fell asleep in the movie the 3rd time. And I was and when I woke up, I was there's got to be something wrong with this movie if I fell asleep in it, because I used to watch Star Wars just.
To be fair, it was the 3rd time, and you were you up all night, or did you get some sleep in between the 2nd and 3rd?
I slept a bit. We had that was a Friday. It was. I think I went to sleep in the afternoon because where I went to high school had a half day, and I was in high school when it came out, and so I slept kind of like through the afternoon, and then like one of my friends actually carved out the horns for the Darth Maul thing, and so I was like, we did makeup prep from like 5 to 7, so I slept for like 4 hours.
You went to school that day.
Yeah, I did.
He went to all classes. And we didn't know if he was going to get in trouble or not.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Great.
Someone also has current nerdy interests / obsessions that aren't Star Wars.
Oh, jeez. I feel like I have so many and I can't think of it. Well, Chrono Trigger is
Oh yeah,
I
love Chrono Trigger.
I just played it for the first time, which is so crazy, and now I'm obsessed and I'm really, really, really excited.
I tried playing the sequel for PlayStation, Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into the story very much. I think there's an element of like they were trying to do the Final Fantasy thing of like, oh, it's spiritual, but it's always a different storyline. And for some reason with Chrono Trigger, I didn't want that. I just wanted more with those characters in that world. And it's this weird thing where it's like technically the same world if you like dig deep enough and find these little Easter eggs. But yeah, the Chrono Trigger is great.
Oh, I should also say Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
My fiance and I, well, really my fiance runs a fantasy league. You can follow him at Scholar Nick on Twitter, and he's like, it's based on the Nerdist fantasy, except it's way better, in all honesty. Like, it's way better. Like, it has more of elements from the show in it. And yeah, I mean, because of that, I was on the small council this year, where we got to decide, who got what points and vote on it and stuff.
Awesome.
And
Fun.
I think there was like 40 or 60 people, no, 40 something people involved this year.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of deciding and pausing and counting how many bodies, and it's super, super fun. So I was already in love with that show, and now I've become like super nerdy about it because now it's like part of my job.
Yeah, now you've got like stakes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've actually been writing like a kid's fantasy novel for the last 5 years.
I've read some of
nice.
it. It's so good.
So that's like kind of what my current nerdy obsession is. And it's kind of got like got giant robots and mystics, So it's a whole extensive like universe thing that I'm building. So that's been
really
like,
incredible.
My nerdy obsession is. But the other thing I think was like the Mad Max Fury Road. Like that was the first like movie trailer that I had seen in like forever that really had that like I was like, I have to see this movie, And
Still haven't seen it.
oh man,
I need
I
to.
think you'll like it.
Yeah.
And it's like because I think when I was a kid, that was something that was like I couldn't watch, because it was like too violent and all that stuff until like my parents let me watch it at a certain age. But that was the first thing that I felt like was a throwback thing that was like better than the originals, which was an incredible experience to have as a movie fan.
I don't know if this counts as nerdy or not, but I've been reading The Fireman by Joe Hill, and it's really fantastic. If you're not familiar with Joe Hill, he's Stephen King's son. He's a phenomenal writer. He wrote the Lock and Key comics. He also wrote Horns, which is a movie with Daniel Radcliffe as well, that came from the book. Heart-Shaped Box, Nosferatu, and The Fireman is his latest one. The concept of the book is that the world is sort of being taken over by this, people are getting this disease called dragon scale that makes you have this stuff appears on your skin that looks like dragon scale, but it can like heat up, and eventually people will spontaneously combust and die unless you can.
I want that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unless you can find a way to like they sort of discover that there are certain ways to like make the dragon scale happy, and so when you get like a sense of community or whatever by like singing together, the dragon scale will glow and you'll feel high. It's really really cool. It's a great book. And then this one is nerdy. Fallout 4 came out in November and is fantastic. They've been releasing DLCs since then. The last one, Far Harbor, that came out is really cool. You leave the wasteland in the Commonwealth to go to this weird little island where these crazy monsters are attacking, and you're helping synths and dealing with the children of Adam, who are these crazy people who like worship the idea of like literally the atom. And then the Vault Tech DLC is about to come out, so you can build your own vault and experiment on your dwellers, which I can't wait to do. And then next month, Nuka World comes out, so you can like go to this weird amusement park run by raiders. So
awesome.
yeah, it's really cool.
And then you guys were also talking about Stranger Things, right? Does that
so
count?
great.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah,
I
Loved it.
it's the best.
This is going to be doubly nerdy for the fact that it is related to this show. But I got on a whim when I was ordering something else, and I needed to bring up the minimum amount to get one-day shipping on Amazon. I bit the bullet and ordered the Curse of Strahd
nice.
new adventure for D&D, which is based on the old, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people watching already know this, but it's based on the old like 80s original Ravenloft adventure. And it's
I love
great.
the conceit of that, of like this tarot deck decides a whole bunch of aspects of
That's cool.
It's really cool.
It's like it's one of those things, like they say it's so you can replay it, but really so much of the world stays the same. I don't know if you'd want to replay it, but it's basically like to find the items you need to defeat this vampire lord, you play a tarot deck game with a gypsy in the beginning, and that determines where in Barovia the different, like the entire, it's gothic horror D&D, so it's like the entire adventure is very like, Barovia is clearly Transylvania. Strahd von Zarovich is clearly Dracula. But then there's like hags and werewolves, and it's very that sort of like D&D version of a like you almost not Universal Studios monsters, because those are always like a little campier, but like I'd say D&D version of like Mary Shelley, Bram Stoker, all that stuff.
Cool.
That sounds super cool.
Oh, I have to say one more thing I'm nerdy about is conspiracy theories and alien conspiracy theories. I listen to like every possible podcast about it, and I really, one of my dreams is to be on Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I don't think that they have a lot of listeners, but I'm one of their.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I have a sticker on the back of my car that says UFOs are real, the government doesn't exist. From Roswell.
Nice. There was a story, I don't know if any of you guys have been playing this, like Half of America. There's a story online the other day about some people who tried to see if there were Pokemon Go stops at Area 51.
What?
And there is one, but it's empty. Like no one's gone there.
Oh my god.
And also the person, I didn't have time to watch this, but apparently they had video of the Area 51 guards come up and be very angry at them as they were trying to Pokemon Go at Area 51.
That's pretty great.
Amazing.
So, Synergy, if you want to check out Jash Plays Poke Your Mom show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, they're playing Pokemon Go live on there. Probably James also says Curse of Strahd is really good.
Yeah, he's been wanting to run that.
Well, I want to run it because I got the book.
So does he.
Well,
he got it the day it came out, I think.
Fair. But
I just looked down at the feed and I realized I've been eating this entire time.
It's all right.
Stop.
It's snack time.
I'm so hungry.
So many brains calories, you know?
I don't think we have any more questions, so I guess we'll wrap this up.
Cool.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks, guys.